Hello, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I am Tom Goodwin. This is Michelle Ronquillo.
Hey, everybody.
And it's Positive Vibes Enterprise. And the subject today is spiritual happenstance. Oh, this is a crazy one. I don't know what's going to happen next. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Help me out, Michelle.
Spontaneous of what's next. What are we going to do?
Yeah,
roll the dice.
There's so many possibilities. I just don't know. No, the world is. This is a crazy world we live in a lot of ways, and some people act like it's all the odds. It's all a matter of how that you flip the coin and whatever happens. So like that scientists will say, well, the odds are that eventually this is going to happen, and that's what they go by. But when you deal with the spiritual, you understand that there's something working behind the scenes that's making things happen the way they have. So sometimes you're going to think they're going to happen in the right way for you because you're tuned in the right way.
And we use that word that I don't like. What is it, Tom?
You were just lucky.
No. There is no luck involved when we are the creators of the spiritual things that happen in our life. This is not...
You haven't had a run of bad luck lately, have you?
The odds, however, in your favor, right? No. It's the creating forces of the spiritual.
Yeah, the thing is that the spirit will make things happen. You can't go back at your life and say, I had a near accident there, I could have got killed, this could have happened, that could have happened.
Let me rub my lucky rabbit's foot.
Meaning there are going to be things that have happened in your life that you can't explain, that somehow you came through it in the proper form, but it scared you because it could have happened differently, you feel like. But the thing is, things happen for a reason spiritually, and you come through it for a reason. But but there's also a warning involved. When you have a close call, don't expect the energy to be proper the next time spiritually, that you can keep pressing your luck.
I don't like that word. In the reality-based form of spirituality, the walks that you do, the actions that you do will have consequences and show you things that you need to correct or that you need to pay attention to. Yes, signs are always there. But those signs are for you to understand that you are creating in the direction that you need to go. So you pay attention to those spiritual things inside of you and around you.
Yeah, I have a real good feeling about things, really. I think things are going to work out this time.
You think?
Yeah, no, that's the way the spiritual works. It's based on feeling. You see, it's not logical or reasonable necessarily.
And you can't see it.
Even though there's a reason it works the way it is, but it's sort of like, it's not scientific. It's based on emotions and feelings, and a lot of times when you're uneasy about something, it's good to pay attention to intuition.
Yeah, see, the gut intuition is those little warning bell type of tools that you use.
You mean it's not luck? It's gut intuition?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Let's put the blind face on everything that is not a reality-based direction. No. Unfortunately, the so-called things of luck and coincidence and synchronicities, they are the tools and signs that you did the actions towards the direction you're going. Spirituality is literally feeling. It's not seeing. It's not witnessing. You're not going to witness something. So if you're waiting to witness something, stop in the eyesight, but in the heart, and feeling it and getting signs that way. Now we're talking green light. Now we're talking you're getting somewhere of understanding. What we're training to get more clarity on is that feeling.
Sometimes things are just crazy. You get into sort of like a crisis situation. You don't know what's going to happen next. How do you get through it? Well, a lot of times the way you get through it is your intuition and your feelings.
And staying in the moment.
And staying in the moment,
You have to stay in the moment when those things happen, because you literally have no control. You have given the reins up to the universe.
Oh, you mean it's just luck? No control?
Feisty Tom, you see that? Because I really do not like that word luck.
No, but
No, you
no,
are
but
creating, you are feeling, you are moving, you are evolving into the
no,
choices and
that's why you do the meditation and do the spiritual training, so you're tuned in,
yes,
so that your spiritual radar will come to your help
yes,
when things are crazy and wild, so that you won't be saying, "Well, this I'm just lucky." It's not a case of luck, because I've
you are
done
a
the work.
creator. You're walking it. You are the actions behind.
But if you don't have any real good spiritual programming, and you're not very much together,
you're trusting it. Are you trusting yourself?
If your gut intuition doesn't work very well because it's not very well trained, then what? You're just depending on whatever happenstance of the universe. You don't. That's where the word luck comes in, because you haven't made.
Can we roll the dice? Can we roll the dice, Tom? Let's roll the dice and see where we go next.
Well, I wouldn't trust that.
Why?
Well, yeah, I have to do the focus on getting my act together spiritually, get that fine tunement, so I can pick up on a lot of the unseen forces that the spiritual picked up on that science can't pick up on.
Yes,
they're unseen by science, but they're felt by somebody.
And honestly, we're gonna go to Einstein. Imagination is greater than knowledge. And why would he say imagination is greater than knowledge? This wonderful scientist, it's because in the spiritual sense, when you feel, you create.
Well, he sort of cheated. In other words, he cheated and he used his feelings. He didn't use just pure scientific stuff.
He knew what direction and the key to unlock things. That wasn't luck. That was just straight trusting the heart, feeling the gut intuition, and walking into the situation of knowing that as a creator, the key is emotion to spirituality and everything that is involved with spiritual. It is the key: emotion, compassion, feeling. You can't see it.
And a lot of times when it comes to
survival, it's out of control.
Survival, when you're on the edge of survival, it's such a fine line. It's very tricky. And that's why you need to have that gut intuition well tuned in. I mean, you have to train your intuition so that you'll get an uneasy feeling that will help you to avoid a potential tragedy or a bad situation. You'll sense that if I do this today, it will not work, so I'll do that, which I have a better feeling about. So you use your feeling to guide yourself and say, this feels like the better action to do than this, so I'll go with it. And if you're tuned in, you'll find that you'll guide yourself through a maze that will avoid the dangers. And you won't know why you did it or how you did it, but you did it, and that's all that counts. And when you look back, you say, I don't know how. I must have been extremely lucky.
Feisty Tom with the word. The label. To me, it makes people not think spiritually of what they need to do.
It's such a popular word, though.
We're just going to put it off on luck. And I want to touch something into the survival part of this. When you are trusting yourself in the gut intuition and plugging into the emotional part of your survival, you have to remember that you have to be the motivator. You have to be the enforcer. You have to be the caregiver. You have to be everything inside of you to make yourself move again. And sometimes that right there is hard to do. But I'm going to tell you, you reach out. There's things that you can do to reach out, force yourself. Understand that those things that you want in life are going to come when you put in the emotion, the passion, the will, the purpose, the drive, the creator. That's why I don't like that word luck, because we are the creators of what energies that we want around us. And when it comes to the survival mode, you either crumble or you get the perceptions that spiritually you're going to survive best when you find the emotion inside of you to be the engine, the driving force to evolve you to that state of complete.
But you have to have some kind of plan of some form. You have to think these things through and
Yes.
logical. But the thing is, with me, I found in times of crisis when I've really been on the edge that I've had to be able to turn on a dime. That I had to deal with a multiplicity of possibilities and be able to say which is the one that try one. If it doesn't work, immediately try another. Not be locked in. You get locked in on one plan, you can get into trouble. Whereas if you have a multiplicity of plans,
Keep moving, keep
options, you have
moving
many options, positive options, and you pick the options that seem to be working, and you cancel out. It's the creative process, and a lot of the spiritual plays a lot in anything that's creative.
Yes.
That's why Einstein created something that changed everything. A lot of times the scientists that create something new are actually using a little bit of their spiritual capabilities, and they're cheating on being purely logical and scientific.
He knew that the key was emotion, and but honestly, that's why that wonderful saying of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. You have to plug in multiple tunes of different ways of spiritually understanding what you're going through and feel it good for you, and how you can get out of it is by logically putting that reality-based plan into action.
And when a hurricane is coming and you hear in the weather report, oh, it's moving this direction, it may move that direction, what am I going to do? So you have to sort of like have that kind of flexibility and ability to this, to change your plans as you determine. Oh, it may be going north of us, it may be going south of us. And as it gets closer and closer, you have to keep adjusting until you get to the point.
And that's spiritual.
And then when you get to the certain point, of course, you say, you have to evacuate now. Because they're telling everybody you have to evacuate. If you don't evacuate now, you're going to get caught in a mob of people.
No, I'm going to stay here and press my luck.
So a lot of times what happens is that, a crisis or a decision point is coming. You're going to have to deal with constantly changing variables until it gets to the point where you have to trust your gut and make a decision.
And
because if you don't make the decision and you hold off, you can get caught up in a messy situation where everybody's in a panic and you haven't beat the energy that's coming that's going to create the chaos. You have to beat the chaos and get out of there in time.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of times the way life is, and that's why where spiritual training comes in, where you develop that fine-tunement, that ability to be on your toes, to have
focus
and quick reflexes that that will be able to decide based on feeling what I have to do now. And a lot of times it's not thinking. You just have tuned yourself in. You've done the training. When the time comes, you just intuitively respond.
That's it.
And a lot of people that seems, how could I possibly do that? Well, once you understand the way the spiritual works and you train yourself and you have in yourself the options you have in yourself are reasonable options. It's just that when the time comes, you use your intuition to decide what of the reasonable options you have will happen. And a lot of times you do that without even thinking. You just have it already programmed into you ahead of time, and you just respond. It's like if in a situation, like if you're going to, like there's all these situations that happen where you could get robbed, or this could happen, or that happen, and what you have to do is have a plan ahead of time, many plans or whatever in your head, so that if something happened that could happen, you're ready.
You're prepared.
You're prepared, and you can intuitively respond, because you have to be programmed. Because in a time of crisis, if you're going to get robbed or something happens, if you're not programmed, you're not going to respond when somebody's going to mug you or whatever. You're not going to have the instant response that will protect you. If you don't have instant response, you're at the mercy of the forces around you, and it doesn't matter if it's somebody trying to victimize you, or it's a storm, or it's anything. You become a victim of it because you haven't done the pre-programming and the preparation, so you can intuitively respond to the situation. Yeah. In other words, you have to know, you have to have a feel and know about it.
You have to have a focus. You have to have a vigilance around you. spiritual spidey senses and reaching out to.
And you can't be the type of person that says, if I avoid fear and keep away from fear, then it won't happen.
Yeah, right.
What you have to do is be sensitive to fear, because fear is your friend.
And not be cocky on your walks either. You need to be humble and grateful.
In other words, how do you protect yourself from something that happens if you don't sense, oh, there's something not right here. I'm fearful of this energy. And the fear will keep you from getting into trouble, because you'll move away from things that scare you to things that make you feel safe. So you have to sense the energy in order to properly deal with it.
And not over-dramatize it. Sometimes people go crazy when they start sensing something or feeling something. Now we're going to hype it up, go a little to the extreme, which in reality just hurts you. And it also gets your feelings off the mark of what you really need to pick up on. So you really need to have that control. And training and meditating and breathing gives you that clarity. So that way you're not going to dramatize something that doesn't need to be dramatized.
And there are a lot of people that do cliff climbing and really scary
adrenaline rush.
And they are people that are very tuned into fear, and they'll be going along and they'll look and they say, this is not a good grip. There's something wrong here. I'm scared.
And that will
save them, and they'll make adjustment, because they'll be sensing where the danger is and where the danger isn't. And and all emotions, including fear and anger and all the different things, they all play a role. And you have to be able to utilize them to make things happen to your benefit, to sense it. And it's good to sense anger, because there's so much anger out there, and you don't want that anger directed at you without you knowing it, so you can try to circumvent getting into trouble as a result of that anger. You can avoid the being a victim of the anger and somehow utilize it in a positive way.
Exactly, and that goes into law of attraction as well. When things and energies are chaotic inside you, they're going to be chaotic around you. So it's important that you keep your energies clear, reality-based, strong, positive, motivated, focused, all that wonderful things that it does not include luck at all.
But things are so chaotic, crazy, wild in this world.
But you keep your focus. You keep your still. You keep knowledge that you are the creator, and you can literally change the law of attraction that is around you. So if things are chaotic, you can literally change that and stabilize the energies around you inside and out. So in understanding that takes focus, it takes practice, it takes knowing that gut intuition that it needs to be done. Sometimes people I'll just let it off to somebody else to do it. They can clean it up or they can take care of it. In reality, every single thing is up to you. You come in alone, you go out alone. So it's all up to you to handle all your thoughts, all your emotions, all your creating, all your dwelling, all your negative versus all your positive. All you can do is reach out, get reassurance and motivation to do it yourself. But when it all comes down to it, reality is you got to do it yourself.
And the emotions power the spiritual.
Very strongly.
And that's why we do the training. Yes. Because you have to be tuned into, you have to be tuned into the emotions in order to deal with the serious problems related to the emotions.
Yeah, because the emotions go into spiritual, it goes into the thoughts, it goes into your health. It goes into your fight or flight survival mode.
But they can be so painful at times. Maybe a lot of times people want to avoid the pain related to emotions.
Yeah.
Be whenever you avoid the pain, you also show insensitivity to the people that are dealing with that pain.
Exactly.
In other words, you gotta be able to face the pain. Sure, it's rough, but that's how you solve problems, is by dealing with the challenge, the struggle that's related to a problem of one kind or another. You have to overcome it. And the reason it's not easy to overcome is it's painful and difficult to overcome.
True, and I think that I want to hit one important topic is do not swallow more than you can handle. Like, take it slow. Take little bits of the spiritual energy, because it will get overwhelming if you take too much in and you don't have a balance of what the spiritual energy is doing for you, and what your powers and your creative self can do with the energies and the training and the things that you are experiencing in your evolvement. So just don't fill up your mouth full of spiritual energy and you can't swallow it. You have to literally understand and take bite-sized spiritual knowledge for your self-evolvement, so it doesn't become overwhelming or those emotions go out of control, because those thoughts become the things and those emotions get crazy out of control.
You gotta know your limitations.
You really gotta know your limitations. Please.
In other words, don't think that you could be a firefighter without proper training. Jump into the fire and then
it's luck.
And you say, "Oh, I forgot some of my fire gear. Oh, I'm burning up."
I can do it because I'm very lucky.
No, you have to. That's one of the things a lot of people don't understand is that That's why you have to evolve spiritually. You can't just think you already have your act together spiritually, or what you were trained when you were young is good enough. You have to always be working on improvement and getting better.
Every day you learn something new. Every day is a new journey of knowledge
if you think you have it too really well together and all, and you're arrogant and you're overconfident, that's a good way to get yourself into have bad accidents, have things go terribly wrong because you get it in over your head. That's why you got to always have some humility and understand your limitations, and understand that no matter who you are, there's going to be areas that you cannot cope with, in which you have to ask somebody else to take over because they're more competent than you at dealing with the situation. In other words, don't think that you can handle everything, because nobody can.
Yeah.
So you have to know when you're a fish out of water and when you're a fish in water.
Yeah.
Okay, so today the subject has been spiritual happenstance. And that's where, I mean, we do live in a world that can seem wild and crazy and all, but once you get tuned into the spiritual, you'll get more at ease and more comfortable with how things go on, and your intuition will help you a lot. In other words, you'll get this comfort level. You'll feel your way through it. It's like you
put the oars in the waters. You can stir and steer, and
so you'll get a feel for life the more you tune in spiritually, and that feel will keep you alive and keep you going.
It will.
Even when it seems like you won't be able to make it through, you'll be surprised what you can make it through when you put the intensity in and you've done the spiritual training. So spiritual happenstance has been the subject. It was nice for you to listen to us, spread the word about us, because we're still not getting a lot of people watching us. And
subscribe,
and
share.
And we've done so much work and so much effort, and we understand that the world is locked into certain mindsets, and they're not. There's a discomfort in changing to other mindsets, but sometimes the time that it required that you up your game, so to speak, and not to use the word game in the term of luck or anything. Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.